for him to be an officer and to be putting not only my life but his and other people's lives in danger, weaving out of traffic like that and causing a scene, I was terrified.
He got super charged up though, like he was ready for this to happen.
They are two men with something in common. Both were involved in road rage incidents involving guns with the same off-duty San Antonio police officer less than a year apart.
One now has a criminal record, the other paralyzed in declining health after being shot by that officer 8 times. As SAPD officer Desi Rios prepares to return to full duty from his own shooting injuries, a months-long investigation from Dylan Collier and our defenders raises questions about Rios' role in both incidents and whether some think he's mentally fit to interact with the public.
A warning, much of what you're about to see is graphic. It's tonight's Defenders investigation.
Life in a wheelchair is now the everyday reality for 26-year-old DeMonte Walker. A shattered T12 vertebra, the most visible but far from only injury caused by bullets fired last May by intoxicated off-duty San Antonio police officer Desi Rios. Tonight, for the first time, Walker gives his side.
Okay, what's going on?
Somebody got shot outside
Of a highway traffic altercation turned shootout
Stay down.
in the parking lot of All Stars Gentlemen's Club.
I've never seen me as the bad guy.
Walker was in his Dodge Challenger on Interstate 10 around 9:30 p.m., headed to All Stars to drop off his wife's cousin, Destiny Rhodes, so she could work, when Officer Rios, leaving a police cadet dinner at a nearby restaurant, cut him off in his Toyota Camry, then exited. As Walker turned into his destination, Rios ahead of him did as well.
And I guess when I put my signal on that I was turning in there, since he thought I was following him, I think he thought I was signaling him to pull over with me.
SAPD declined to make Rios available for an interview for this story, but his account of what happened that night is laid out in these documents prepared by SAPD for prosecutors.
He shot me. Where? Okay, we can squeeze my hand. Okay, we got
And on this body-worn camera belonging to a fellow officer. Rios' story has changed over time.
Bring somebody now.
Walker's has not.
There was never any doubt in my mind that this young man was telling the truth.
Charles Adams is Walker's defense attorney and a former Houston area police officer. He's remained on the case months after his client was cleared of criminal wrongdoing.
I get that as a chief of police, you feel a duty to cover for or protect your officers. They knew at that time that DeMonte was in the parking lot of his destination. They knew at that time that Officer Rios was not going to that nightclub, that he was just there for the altercation.
When questioned at SAPD headquarters a month after being shot 6 times, Rios said he pulled into the parking lot because he needed to call his wife. A much different narrative than what he told the officer who rode with him to the hospital.
So were you at that place or what?
No.
You were just driving by and
No, I was driving by and he kept on he was flashing his lights. We pulled over real quick.
Yeah.
He was like, you almost killed me. And I was like, what the are you talking about, man? You.
Yeah.
And he pulled out a gun and I was like,
Another point of contention, Rios' location when he was shot. He told investigators he went to the front of the vehicles to put a car between him and Walker for safety, backed up even more, then after being shot, crawled to his car for his weapon. If that was the case, then why was SAPD personnel standing in the middle of the supposed shooting scene? Photos show a vast majority of the blood evidence was instead outside Rios' driver's side door. Walker contends that Rios was armed during the entire verbal confrontation, and after being shot,
San Antonio 911, this is Crystal. Do you need police?
returned fire while Walker was on the phone with 911, striking him and Rhodes as they sat inside Walker's vehicle.
San Antonio 911, hello.
It's like the Wild West, and it was horrific. It was gross. It was evil. And then even more so that a police officer is involved with it. It's like, if I was a police officer, I would just avoid it.
The police officer's narrative doesn't make sense. When I talked to the Walker family, their story did make sense.
I had IVs stuck in my arm.
Walker says he's had too many surgeries to remember the exact count, losing 100 pounds since the shooting, and said he cried for days after seeing himself in a wheelchair for the first time.
Once I seen myself, I was gone. It's just weird. It's just weird.
9 months earlier, in August 2017, Officer Rios was involved in another off-duty road rage incident, this one close to downtown. The other driver, Nathan Pazina, then just 20 years old, says he was in the outside lane of 281 South when Rios, this time in a rented Ford Expedition, nearly swerved into him, repeatedly.
Like trying to almost hit the front bumper of my car. I could tell he was, in a way, like mocking me or laughing about it. Kind of like a very smug sort of demeanor to him.
Hey, Mikey. Hey, what the get out of here?
While a police report says Pazina admitted to pointing a gun at Rios, he disputed that account, both at the scene.
I had the gun, but I didn't, like physically bringing it up, pointing it? No.
And when we interviewed him.
He claims that at one point you grabbed the gun and pointed it towards him. Did that happen?
No.
While Pazina was booked for deadly conduct and unlawful carry of a weapon, charges that remain on his record, Rios was allowed to sit in the front seat of an SAPD squad car and had the benefit of a fellow officer muting his microphone while Rios spoke to his fellow policemen. Rios later told investigators he tried to grab his service weapon, but realized it was in the back area of his rented vehicle. Pazina and Adams say the 2017 case was an omen of things to come.
They should have known he had the capacity for this type of rage.
Now, forget me, but he put somebody in a wheelchair because of his temper. And you want to put someone like that back out on the force? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's like putting a bull in a crowded center full of people, and then what do you expect to happen? Eventually he's gonna gore somebody, and he did.
Lucky he didn't get smoked, man. He's lucky he didn't. That's what I said, yeah.
For the defenders, Dylan Collier, KSAT 12 News.
Earlier this month, the district attorney's office confirmed it closed its investigations of Walker and Rios without charging either man for the shooting.
SAPD declined to make Officer Rios or Chief William McManus available for interviews for this story. Chief McManus did provide the following written statement. Quote, in the August 2017 incident, Officer Rios was the victim of a deadly conduct after the defendant pointed a gun at him. That case was investigated and forwarded to the district attorney's office.
It continues. The suspect was later convicted of that offense. Officer Rios is currently on light duty in an administrative capacity as he is still recovering after being shot 6 times. Once he is fully recovered, he will be assigned to full duty on patrol.